If you've watched our videos, you know that we are a bit obsessed with underwater creatures. And of course, we do have a lot of respect for the one that's perhaps one of the most dangerous of them all, the shark. There are different types of shark. Some are slightly friendly, and some others just want to eat. And while shark attacks are nothing like what we see in Jaws or any other movies, there are still encounters that could either harm us or become a major threat to our lives. Now, if you go diving with the proper gear, then you're more likely to have a safe, close encounter with these creatures. But even that is not 100% safe. There have been incidents in which diving near the creatures led to scary encounters. Today we're going to be looking at 10 shark diving moments that went wrong. We'll have a look at some cool footage of people who had very close and scary encounters with sharks. I'm sure the people weren't expecting this, but I'm also sure that they're glad that they had a camera to record it and share their story with the world. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? Number 10. A group experience. Coming face to face with sharks can be scary, so why not do it with your friends? At least you won't be alone if anything crazy happens. The first shark diving experience for today starts with a group in Port Lincoln, Australia. They were happily enjoying their surroundings when all of a sudden an aggressive shark showed up to eat the bait. The shark is going so fast that it bumps against the cage. From the perspective of one of the people, you can see that the shark is coming directly towards them. However, when you look at it from a different angle, you can tell that the shark just wanted to get the bait and go back to whatever it is that sharks do underwater. This was definitely unexpected, as the divers weren't supposed to get this close to the shark. But that's why those cages are so complex and well designed, to make sure that sharks don't cross the barrier and harm the people inside. Number 9. A smart shark. The next video starts with a shark expert diving into the water inside a cage that is built with bars on every side except for one. That side is covered in plexiglass. At first, the diver spots a shark that looks shy, but as the diver starts to show his vulnerable human nature, an 18-foot long shark shows up and starts to prey on him. The shark doesn't just go for the diver. Instead, the beast starts to chew on one of the two floats that keeps the cage balanced. While the diver is safe inside the cage, there is a big risk that things will get complicated if the shark punctures both floats and sends the cage to the bottom of the ocean. Luckily, the diver managed to go back to the surface unharmed, but this experience gave them a great example of what sharks are capable of. They're not just wild beasts, they actually have a strategy to accomplish whatever it is that they want. Number 8. Paddling away. The next video is not necessarily a diving experience, but the guy in the video had to go underwater to spot the big danger that was swimming around him. The video starts with a guy going off on a peaceful and relaxing stand-up paddling session. However, suddenly he falls off his board and immediately gets his camera to show us what's underwater. It's a massive shark that could easily take this guy down at any time. Just watching the video can make you anxious, and I can totally imagine what this guy felt. Luckily, the shark didn't seem interested in attacking the guy, so he was able to get back on his board and paddle away. I think one of the scariest things about this video is the fact that the guy is by himself, and that he's a bit far from the shore. He obviously made it out fine, but I'm sure we'll be thinking about this the next time he goes in the open water without any company. Number 7. The Ghost Cage. The next video starts with a guy going inside a ghost cage, which is a cage that's transparent so it gives him the illusion of being invisible. The scary thing about this video starts when the diver notices 5 sharks swimming in circles around him. They all seem eager to get closer to him, and one of them actually pushes itself toward the cage, almost making its way inside. The lucky diver was quick to push the shark out, and then the guy went up to the surface. It was a very thrilling and very scary experience, and the diver says that he saw all kinds of sharks down there. Most of the encounters were more intense than he anticipated. All it takes is to be in the right spot at the right time for these kinds of things to happen. Number 6. Cliff jumping. What can go wrong after jumping off a cliff? A lot of things, actually. You could injure yourself, end up in the hospital, and in the worst case scenario, well, we're a PG channel, I'm not going there. But cliff jumping is actually pretty fun, especially if you do it in places that have been specially designed for that. However, not many people would anticipate what happened to the person in this video. As soon as he jumped, he came face to face with a massive shark. It was as if the shark was just waiting for food to fall right in front of its face. Even though the shark doesn't seem quite interested in this person, you can see that the guy is pretty anxious about this encounter. He's moving his hands and feet in a desperate attempt to get away from it, and it feels as if it's going to take forever to get this shark off his back. At the end of the video, the guy manages to go back to shore. He seems relieved and shocked because, honestly, no one goes cliff jumping in hopes to meet a shark right away. Number 5. Spearfishing with a shark. Spearfishing is one of the oldest methods that people have used to get food. Some of you might consider it a bit too aggressive as it involves using a spear, but that's all people had back in the day to get food from the sea. Nowadays, there are more sophisticated ways to fish, but spears are... However, this video shows us that poking a shark with a spear is not necessarily a good idea, even if you're in danger. He said he had never seen anything like this in the past. Luckily, the shark wasn't that big, otherwise that bite would have been a bit more painful. Number 4. The biggest shark. I wouldn't say the next diving experience is considered one that went wrong. If anything, it was one of the most awesome moments in the history of diving. But that wouldn't be the case for those who have zero diving experience. In 2013, Michael Meyer went cage diving around Guadalupe Island, Mexico, and during his underwater journey, he came face to face with a beast that's considered to be the largest one ever caught on camera. He guesses the shark was about 7 meters long, and even though the animal was calm, its curious personality is more than enough to make anyone nervous. It's not an experience that I'd recommend to the faint of heart, but it's definitely the ultimate dream for anyone who loves sharks and wants to have a close encounter with them. Number 3. Out of nowhere. Holidays near the ocean are great opportunities to explore the underwater world. Even a bit of snorkeling can be enough to see a lot of exotic fish and other creatures that you don't normally see. And if you can scuba dive, then you're in for a whole nother world of creatures that not many of us are lucky to see on a regular basis. However, exploring the depths of the ocean can have consequences that will scar you for life, such as the case of the next video. This guy was exploring the depths of the ocean, trying to get a hold of some fish, when suddenly, out of nowhere, a big shark showed up and attacked. It was shocking and unexpected, but the worst part is that the shark was very angry and didn't seem interested in leaving the guy alone. Even though the diver had a spear, the shark was not intimidated by it. Instead, it kept looking for ways to get back at the guy. I almost want to say that this shark was serious about protecting the underwater ecosystem, because he just wasn't happy with this intruder. Now it's time for the day's best pick. However, nothing we've seen so far is as crazy as the thing I'm showing you in this picture. It's a shark that got inside one of those cages. This doesn't happen often, but it happened to someone, and it's perhaps one of the scariest diving experiences ever. With that said, let's move on to number 2. A rare event. This diving experience started when a guy went inside the diving cage while some people were feeding a group of sharks with a rope and big chunks of tuna. Suddenly, one of the sharks lunged and bit something so aggressively that it went temporarily blind. This caused the shark to hit the cage and eventually broke it. Since the shark had lost its sense of direction, the animal wasn't able to swim backwards. Instead, it just kept going forward until it broke the rails of the cage. There was only one diver inside, but he immediately swam to the bottom of the cage and went out through that part. It was a good thing then that he had a lot of experiences with sharks, as there were 2 of them down there, but he stayed calm until the other shark was out of the cage. The diver was finally able to swim back up to the surface without any injuries. The people in charge of the trip admitted that the experience was very unique. They had never seen a shark do this before, and they certainly didn't expect a shark to break a cage like that one. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Number 1. Blindly into the cage. And at the top of the list we have another shark that went blindly into the cage. However, this one is perhaps the most aggressive one. It all happened when a group of South African shark experts were watching sharks and feeding bait to one of them. Unfortunately, while doing so, they accidentally hit the side of the shark and it blindly lunged towards the cage. The shark pretty much forced its way inside the cage and made the divers escape. There was not enough space for them to share it with a shark as big as this one. Andre Hartman, one of the men behind this event, says that he had never experienced something like this during his 25 years of working with sharks. I guess there always is a first time for everything, though. Would you ever go diving with sharks? Or maybe you've done it already. How was it? Let us know in the comment section down below. With all that said and done, that's our video for the day, folks, and I will see you all next time. Later, everybody.